The things you get up to when you're retired. So we're going for a redecoration, major DIY job, although I am having some help off the professionals. We've got an Artex ceiling that's drove me up the wall for the last 30 years, and we're finally going to get that plastered over with nice smooth plaster and painted white. We're getting rid of the magnolia coloured wallpaper and going white, matte white. Me and the missus had a bit of a discussion or a fallout, if you like. I wanted acoustic panels on that wall and mount the TV on that wall, but she wasn't very much for that idea. But she did want a feature wall. Feature wallpaper seems to be the thing at the moment, where I'm sure I'll be ripping that out in a few years' time. But anyway, we both won, because so I've got the feature wall, which is going to be that wall there. We're going to get rid of the neutral colours and go for something really loud. And I won because I get me acoustic wall panels, and I'm just going to mount me stereo speakers on that. I like to listen to the odd record, so I'm going to keep my record player on that wall, and hopefully it might improve the sound. The acoustic wall panelling might. And I think with the acoustic wall panelling and the feature wall, I don't think it'll be too much, but we'll wait and see. But I'm really looking forward to getting rid of this Artexing. So I'll video it when we're installing the acoustic wall, and I'll show you the renew when we've done the feature wall and the plastering. I forgot to add, as you see this room now, we've removed the photographs and artwork off the walls if you're thinking it seems a bit bare. So I've started videoing after the process is started, and mine and the wife's taste in artwork is different as well. I've got something I want to hang on my acoustic wall, and my wife's asked me to order something that she wants to put on a feature wall. So I'll let you be the judge of whose artwork's the best. Thank you. So majority of the furniture is stripped out, all the decorations off the walls. Plasterers are due tomorrow, and hopefully we can get rid of this horrible Artex ceiling. I mean, it's an acquired taste, some people still like it, but whenever you see homes under the hammer and they walk into a room with Artex, they go, ew. So let's go back to smooth ceilings, Parrot wallpaper and acoustic panels. So just a little update where we are. The decorators have been in today. They have sealed the ceilings with PVA. I think that's had 2 coats. They're very good, clean workers. Everywhere's all sheeted up. The dining room has had the ceiling plastered, so no more Artex ceiling in there. That's looking pretty good at the moment. And all the paper off the wall that's going to be the feature wall has been removed. So we are getting there. It's just a little bit of a job at the moment, and we're living in the conservatory for now. So these are the panels I bought. I've got 7 of these panels. There's a box of 4 there and 3 here. I've bought these offline. These are a light oak slat, and I paid about £27 each for them offline, and that was with delivery. That's not bad. I've seen them at local DIY shops ranging from about 50 to 70. I don't know whether there's much difference in the quality, but when I looked at them in the DIY store, I couldn't see much difference compared to what's been delivered here. I'm going to cut these with a multi-tool, cut the wood with a multi-tool and the black foam padding with a very sharp knife when we go for cutting them for length. These are 2.4 metres in length, and I think I need about 2.2 metres, and they're 600 millimetres wide. So the type of screw I'm using to fasten the panels on are these concrete screws. You just drill a hole with these, and you screw them straight into the wall. You don't put a raw plug in or anything like that. I think you have to drill about a 5.5mm hole for these, and they sort of self-tap themselves into the brickwork. And the wall I'm fixing the acoustic panels on is solid concrete block, These are about 40mm long, and the block is about 100mm thick, so they should be ideal. What I've done is paint the heads matte black on some of them, and I'm hoping then that if we didn't like the acoustic panel, I could pull them down and just fill the holes rather than using loads of mastic. So I'll see how it goes. I'm aiming for two at the top of the panel, 2 at the bottom. I'll see how that looks. Okay, so here we are on day 2, and we've plastered the ceiling in the living room. We've painted a little bit of a black border around that wall, so if the acoustic panels don't mate quite right with a corner or around the door, you don't see the white wall underneath. We've got to do underneath the coving as well. But the plastering looks a nice job. Needs to dry out. Right, I did say the wallpaper was the wife's choice, so you can be the judge what you think. I actually quite like it. I think the white goes with the white wall and the white smooth plastered ceiling. So I've got my first panel in here. We've painted around the edge of the wall just in case one of the panels doesn't quite fit, and we're going to fit the acoustic panels in place now. Okay, so a little tip. I've marked the length of my board before I'm cutting it, and I'm using a multi-tool to cut through the wooden slats, which seems to be working quite well. I could use a multi-tool blade to cut through the black material at the back, but I'm using a sharp knife for that. But what I've found is the multi-tool shakes the slats about quite a bit. So what I've done, I've marked my length, I put a little mark on the back where I'm actually cutting it. I'll flip them over, and what I'm doing is just putting an extra staple in each one, just to hold them secure. The manufacturer puts staples in about every 156 inches apart, but they're not in the material very good. It's only MDF, the strippers. So the extra staple just holds them and makes it better for cutting, stops them coming loose. So I can use the manufacturer's staples as my centre, and I'm just putting an extra strip in every one. Show you a bit closer. So I don't know whether you can see that. So that was the mark I put on to show where my cut mark is on the other side, and you can see the extra staples I'm putting in to hold the struts while I cut. Just for reference, I'm using like a half moon blade and a multi-tool. If you haven't bought a multi-tool, I would thoroughly recommend you do. They come in for so many jobs. So now, I'll just use my sharp craft knife and cut that out. From the cut edge, I'm actually putting to the bottom of the panel where any imperfections are less likely to show up. Now, I'm sure there's other ways of doing this, and you might be able to use a jigsaw. But I've been doing this from the start of this job, and it seems to be working okay. So why I put the extra staple in this panel is to stop these things flopping around. And if you do want a short length of this, cutting off for a small space, I recommend you staple it before you cut it, or it's a pain trying to line these slats up. So I'll just do a little update. We've just got, I suppose it's 2 panels in around the door. We had to cut a big section out of one, and I used some of the offcut to fill in at the top. And we just fixed one full panel on the left hand side of this door. This has been a bit more problematic than I anticipated. The door frame is a little touch out of square. We've had to cut out for one socket down below there. I've painted the previously white socket black, so as it blends in. That's an old telephone socket I could have removed actually. When I was pushing that panel in on that side there, it was really tight, and I did damage the wallpaper a little bit, but because it's such a busy pattern, you can't see it, and I've repaired it as best as I could. And I always think a good tradesman is somebody who can hide his mistakes and nobody knows they're there. But I think tomorrow or later today, I'll work my way across. We're on a straight run for a bit. There's 2 more sockets down the other side. But yeah, we're using the multi-tool. We're using a Hilti drill for drilling to the wall. And we're using the concrete screws. Oh, the other problem I had, at the top of that door frame is a metal lintel. So you've just got about 10 mil of plaster and you've got the steel lintel. So I had to drill through the plaster, then use a steel drill bit to drill through the metal lintel. So there was 2 screws above the door frame. That was a bit more problematic, but we got there in the end. And painting the heads of them screws matte black has worked really well, because we're struggling to see where they are as we're going. They're really well hidden. I think it's starting to look okay. Okay, so you can see we've got the white wall now, the white walls, the white ceiling. We've got rid of the Artex. We've done the acoustic wall. I've done my little record player setup there. And the Parrot wallpaper. I actually quite like it, but keep that between us. Don't tell the wife. My wife's had them 2 prints in the heavy wooden frames of toucans. And remember, I said to you I'd rip the wallpaper a little bit, and a good tradesman can always hide his mistakes. So what I did, I put the alarm sensor over where the red bits, and nobody knows about that except us. I'll show you one more piece of artwork that the wife has done. Now this one I think was a bargain. We had that off a antiques market, and it cost us £20, and I think that was the cheapest bargain we had. So let me know what you think of our taste in decor. So we've got removal of Artex, we've got acoustic wall panel installing, and we've got Parrot wallpaper. There's everything there. Thank you if you do watch this video. Bye.